Okay, so, hey, how you guys doing? I'm here for the next book in the Legend of Drazil series, and I want to talk about it, the next manuscript in the series. It is the Legend of Arah. That's it. It's just Legend of Arah. That's it. This one had a lot of chapters, and it was kind of big. It wasn't as big as the Great Gluplex War, though. This one is 121 pages, and there's 13 chapters. 18 chapters, I mean. There's 18 chapters in this one for some reason. The chapters in this one are like really, really short. Like, for example, from 14 to 15, there's only 3 pages in that chapter, as you can see, 101 to 104. And then there's only 5 chapters after that, 5 pages after that. I mean, yeah. And we're gonna discuss this like we do every other book. We're done with the table of contents, so we don't have to talk about that anymore. We're gonna talk about the book summary, the dedication, the end message at the end, and also the intro at the beginning, because I put an intro at the beginning of every single one of these books. I'm still not 100% sure why I did it, but I still think it was because I wanted to add something unique to my books. Anyway, the book summary, the blurb on the back, which I put at the front, is 20 years ago, peace was brought to the world. Arah and Drazil had succeeded in taking all the evil and absorbing it into a staff. But now it is 20 years into this peace, and a new generation of children leaves Drazil to worry about the peace. What if it is ruined by some new enemy? Arah, the son of Drazil and Arah, has special powers and even is writing a journal, a dark journal, which, in its contents, contains everything necessary for becoming evil, being evil, and perhaps bringing evil back to this peaceful world. After an incident with Arah and the staff of absorption, Drazil decides he has no choice. He throws the staff into deep space, but others begin to wonder what are the consequences of what he had just done. That's the blurb. And looking back at it, it's actually one of the best out of this entire series so far, because if I was to write a book right now, or if I was to completely rewrite this book, I would probably just take this exact blurb and just reword it. Just reword it, add like less information. For example, it just spoils like, oh, he just throws the staff into space. You kind of ruined that. Stuff like that. I would have used the 20 years ago peace was brought to the world, and then Arah and Drazil succeeded in taking all the evil in the world. I would have kept stuff like that, but a lot of it I would have just cut out. I would have also kept the Arah, the son of Drazil and Arah, has special powers and is even writing a journal or a dark journal. I may have included the dark journal part, I may not have. I'm not sure. That's just one of those things about process. Anyway, about the writing process. Anyway, that is the blurb, the book summary, however you want to call it. We're going to put that off to the side now, and we're going to get into the strange intro that I put at the beginning of every book. They're all terrible. Every single intro is terrible. Every single the end message is terrible. But anyway, moving on. Let's get into it. So here we... This is weird. I'm doing this in a weird way. I've not done this before. So here we are. Another book. Drazil 20 years later, of course. The world is peaceful now. Good job, Drazil. Good job, Drazil. That was... Right. But it wasn't all him. Arah helped by absorbing all the evil. Drazil then absorbed it all into his staff and hid it away ever since. So Arah? He's Drazil's son. I'll explain the missing 20 years in the prologue, so don't skip it. I know people do that, and I find it odd. The prologue is supposed to help with questions or maybe tell you something that you wouldn't know from the actual story. So read it and then carry on with the story. I'll talk to you after the story is over. And the dedication is dedicated to the peace we may never know. That is the dedication. So I kind of do want to talk about the prologue. I think I'm going to have a little bit of time. I'm obviously not going to read the whole thing because it's like 4 pages. It's 2 pages, actually. It's just 2 pages. It's just a series of paragraphs. Explaining what all happened in the missing 20 years. So it's like after Drazil brought peace, absorbing the staff, there's no more serious crime. The only crime that's really been around is like the theft of food, and the theft of food was to feed a starving family. And since this is now a peaceful age, that family was not convicted of anything. They were instead brought to a place where they got food and just given all kinds of opportunities, like everyone else should be having. It's talking about how the economy has improved, prices for things have dropped down, there's no more products jumping in price. Everyone, it's basically just says that every company is basically a nonprofit organization now, and it's just bringing about like we all break even now. That's pretty much it. They break even. They make enough money to produce the goods that they sell, and then they make enough money to off those goods that they sell to make more goods. That's pretty much what it is. The Master Drazil, he hasn't been challenged at all since bringing peace, and. He was actually. It also adds, for some reason, a strange bit of lore that Drazil was the third master ever to marry while still master, which is weird. It says 3 years after he married Hara, they had a son named Arah, and then he named it after Hara, which Hara backwards is Arah, and Hara countered and said, well, let's add Albert as his middle name, which is Drazil's middle name, and so the final so Arah's final name was Arah Albertano, or AAA, which is kind of funny. This next bit of information is kind of important to the actual story. It says that even with peace in the world, there's still violence in the minds of everyone. There's still everyone still craves violence. There's still that violent tendency in everyone. So what happened is Gecko created a virtual world where people could release that anger and do whatever they wanted to. The video cut out. I hate that crap. Anyway, I was talking about how this part was kind of important, and how it basically just says that even with peace in this world, there's still violent tendencies in everyone. They still crave violence. There's still that anger that they can't do nothing with, and so Gecko creates this virtual world where you can basically release that anger. You can do whatever you want in this virtual world. It's basically used for people to fight each other in a safe virtual manner, in a respectful manner, and basically the most peaceful manner possible. And yeah. Anyway, so the last line in this prologue is, so the world is better than ever, but there's still those who believe evil is returning to ruin their peace. So that's what the prologue is, and I'm just gonna go ahead and after that prologue, I'm just gonna tell you basically what the rest of this book's about. So as I said, in the intro, which kind of ruins the book a little bit, ruins some of the surprises. Arah is creating this dark journal. That basically allows you. It's basically the dark journal is a journal that he's creating that basically teaches people how to be evil and how to bring evil back, and it's literally a dark journal. Essentially, this happens. A bully ends up taking it or something like that, and Arah fights this bully to get it back, and this is when I guess he awakens his power, so to speak. It's the first time he ever uses power, and his power is to create and manipulate disintegration sand. So what happens is he creates this disintegration sand around him, and he actually disintegrates the person that took his journal, and then this causes a huge issue with like Drazil and this everything. People are saying, no, evil's back. People are saying Arah is evil. People are talking about how like this is the end of the world, basically. People are freaking out. People are accusing Drazil of certain things. And Arah is right in the middle of it. He's in some pretty tough water here. So essentially this happens, and Drazil is able to calm everyone down and dispel the so-called rumors, which they're not rumors, they're actual fact. So they're not rumors, but they are they're truths. And Drazil knows this truth, so he ends up dispelling the rumor. Like he gets the media off his back and Arah's back a little bit, and he sends Arah to Blaze's school, which Blaze's school is kind of like a school where people can go to learn powers and really learn responsibility and kind of like change from being kind of angry to kind of being more peaceful. And essentially, he goes there. He goes through that school, and before he goes, Drazil literally throws the staff that absorbed all the evil into deep space. He just chunks that son of a gun, and it goes all the way into space, where it goes off into a distant planet, where it infects that planet with evil energy, which speeds up the population on that planet and gives them advanced technology, where they then invade Earth in the next chapter after Blaze's school chapter, and then they're battling this alien force. They're called, I don't remember what they're called. They're called Mirlings because they come from a planet called Mir. and they have their own master of their planet, and it's basically this master of this Earth, this master of Earth versus this master of an alien planet called Mir. So master of Mir versus master of Earth, and they keep battling. Towards the end. They actually have a final battle where whoever wins that battle gets to become master of both planets, and Drazil wins. So he's now he's master of Mir and master of Earth. That's how this book ends. And throughout all of it, Arah's just kind of in there, just living his life. Not living his life, but he's kind of in the middle of everything. And it's actually this book where the Master Journal rumor, legend thing gets thrown out the water, because in this book, Arah burns the Master Journal. He just burns it, and everything remains like totally fine, which dispels the rumor that if this was destroyed, all existence would go with it, which is not true. It's not true. That's not what the Master Journal does. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the end. The end. We're done with this book now. What happens when we're done with this book? Well, we get this weird the end message that's a paragraph long. And here it is. Here it is, right here. It says, well, that's it. Thank you for reading. That's the story of what happened after peace was brought to the world by Drazil. Yes, the world no longer has that. Because at the end of it, there's no longer peace to the world, because evil was literally brought to the world, because the Mirlings had evil in them, so when they came, it basically reinfected the world with evil. Anyway, that's the story of what happened after peace was brought to the world by Drazil. Yes, the world no longer has that, but with crime still very low, the world rests easy, knowing that if something ever goes wrong again, Mir, the planet the aliens came from, will come back to help. After all, their master lives on Earth. So after all of this, I must say one simple thing. There's more to come. So read on, people of Earth. Read on. Sincerely, Dan Ray. That's the end message at the final Legend of Drazil, the Legend of Arah book. This was the only spin-off, I guess you could call it. I don't know if you could call it a spin-off or a sequel, but it's the Legend of Arah. That's the final. That's it. That's the end message. And after this book, there's only one more book in the Legend of Drazil series. That is the Legend of Drazil and the Master of the Universe. That one is crazy. It's crazy. It's just as big as the first one, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I got it down here. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Do not forget to like, subscribe, share, do all of those wonderful things. Do all those wonderful things, please. And subscribe, like, share. Do those wonderful things. Just do them. Do those wonderful things. See you next time.